Well, hello there, you gorgeous lot, and welcome. Now gather round because have I got some rather juicy, if a tad unsettling news for you. It seems there is a bit of a continental shift happening, and I'm not talking about tectonic plates, darling. The question on everyone's lips, whispered in hushed tones across the tapas bars and beer gardens, is this: why is everyone packing their bags and leaving these 10 European countries in 2025? It's like a massive game of musical chairs, but instead of a missing seat, it's a whole country people are hopping away from. In this eye-opening video, we dive deep into the alarming trends reshaping Europe today. We're going to put on our detective hats. Oh, I do love a good hat. And investigate what's really going on. Is it the price of a pint? Or something a bit more, shall we say, existential? We'll discover the key factors driving residents to seek greener pastures, from economic instability that'll make your wallet weep, and cost of living crises that have everyone tightening their belts, and not in a fashionable way, to, frankly, biblical, harsh weather conditions, and, oh yes, a sprinkle of political unrest for good measure. It's a veritable smorgasbord of reasons. Join us as we explore each country's unique challenges and the unexpected twists prompting massive relocations. We'll be naming names, spilling the tea, and perhaps even shedding a tear or two, or maybe that's just me after a particularly strong espresso. So grab a cuppa or something stronger if the mood takes you, and let's get to the bottom of this. Don't get left behind. Hit like, subscribe, and stay updated on must-know travel insights and migration trends. And please comment below your thoughts and take part in the conversation. Let me know if you've got your suitcase packed, or if you're staying put with a stiff upper lip. All right, let's talk money, honey, or rather the distinct lack of it, or the terrifying feeling that it might just vanish like a magician's rabbit. Economic instability, it sounds so grown up and serious, doesn't it? But what it really means is that feeling when you check your bank balance and it looks like it's been on a rather extreme diet. In some of these European hotspots, the economies are doing more ups and downs than a yo-yo in a lift. One minute you're feeling flush, the next you're wondering if you can afford that second croissant. This kind of uncertainty, my loves, is enough to give anyone sleepless nights and a sudden urge to look up countries where the financial forecast is a little less chance of apocalyptic thunderstorms. It's not just about the big numbers on the news, it's about real people, real lives. Imagine trying to plan for your future, for your family, when the ground beneath your financial feet feels like quicksand. People start to crave stability, a place where their hard-earned cash doesn't devalue faster than a reality TV star's fame. They're not necessarily looking for streets paved with gold, but perhaps just streets where the paving stones aren't actively being repossessed. So they start Googling most stable economies, countries where my savings won't cry themselves to sleep, and suddenly that little country next door, or even one across the globe, starts looking awfully appealing. It's a proper financial fright fest driving folks away. Now, if the wobbly economy wasn't enough to make you clutch your pearls, let's chat about the cost of living. Oh, the sheer audacity of it. It's like everything suddenly decided to get a VIP upgrade but forgot to tell our wages. We're talking about the kind of price hikes where your morning coffee costs more than your therapist, and frankly, you might need both. In many of these European darlings, the cost of simply has shot up so dramatically, it's making people's eyes water more than chopping an entire field of onions. Rent, groceries, that cheeky little glass of wine at the end of the day, it all adds up, and suddenly your budget is screaming for mercy. It's a daily grind, isn't it? Trying to maintain a decent standard of living when the price tags are laughing in your face. People aren't asking for gold-plated taps in every bathroom, but they would like to be able to afford, food and perhaps heating. The basics. When the struggle to make ends meet becomes the main event of your life, the allure of somewhere where your euro, pound or zloty stretches a bit further becomes incredibly strong. It's not about being extravagant. It's about breathing room, about not having a minor panic attack every time you approach a checkout. So the moving vans are getting booked, all in pursuit of a life that's a little less, can I afford this? And a little more, yes, I can. Oh, the weather. It used to be such a reliable topic for small talk, didn't it? A bit of drizzle here, a sunny spell there. But lately, Mother Nature seems to be going through a rather dramatic phase in some parts of Europe. We're not just talking about needing a slightly bigger umbrella. We're talking about harsh weather conditions that are less charming seasonal change and more end-of-days blockbuster movie. Think biblical floods one month, scorching heat waves that could fry an egg on the pavement the next, and perhaps a surprise blizzard in May just to keep things interesting. It's all very dramatic and frankly quite exhausting. Living in a place where you're constantly battling the elements, where your lovely little garden gets washed away or your roof tiles take flight, can really take its toll. It's not just inconvenient, it can be downright dangerous and incredibly costly. People dream of a bit of predictability, a climate where they don't need a wardrobe that spans Arctic expedition gear to desert survival chic. They start yearning for places where mild is the default setting, not an occasional fleeting miracle. So, if your home is increasingly feeling like the set of a disaster film, it's no wonder folks are looking at maps and pointing to places with less in their weather patterns. A bit of boring weather can suddenly seem like paradise. Chapter 4. Political panto and unrest. When the government's a soap opera, you can't switch off. Now let's tiptoe into the rather delicate world of politics, shall we? Or, as it sometimes feels in certain corners of Europe, the never-ending political pantomime, complete with villains, heroes, though sometimes hard to spot, and a whole lot of shouting. Political unrest, my dears, is a potent cocktail of uncertainty, fear, and a general feeling that the people in charge might be steering the ship with a map drawn by a particularly confused toddler. When the headlines are constantly screaming about instability, government collapses, or policies that seem to make less sense than a silent mime convention, it's enough to make anyone a tad jittery. This isn't just about disagreeing with who's in power. It's about a fundamental sense of unease, a fear that things could take a turn for the worse, or that your voice simply isn't being heard above the cacophony. People crave stability, not just economically, but socially and politically too. They want to feel safe, secure, and confident that the society they live in is heading in a generally sensible direction. When that confidence erodes, when the daily news feels more like a horror show than a civic update, the desire to find a calmer, more predictable political climate becomes overwhelming. They start looking for nations where boring politics is a compliment, not an insult. Chapter 5. The job market jitters wanted opportunity will relocate. Ah, the noble pursuit of a good job, something to get you out of bed in the morning, put food on the table, and maybe, just maybe, afford that lovely little trinket you've had your eye on. But what happens when the job market starts to resemble a desert mirage? You see opportunities shimmering in the distance, but when you get closer, poof, they vanish. In several European countries, we're seeing a job market decline that's causing widespread despair. It's not that people don't want to work, it's that the jobs simply aren't there, or the competition is so fierce you need an Olympic gold medal in CV writing just to get an interview. This lack of opportunity is a powerful motivator, isn't it? It gnaws away at your ambition, your sense of purpose. Young graduates, brimming with enthusiasm and student debt, find themselves stuck in a loop of unpaid internships or jobs that are miles away from their chosen field. Experienced professionals see industries shrinking, their skills becoming less in demand, so what do? They dust off their LinkedIn profiles, broaden their geographical horizons, and start looking for work elsewhere, in countries or even continents where their talents are appreciated and crucially remunerated. It's a global talent show, and people are voting with their feet, or rather their plane tickets. Chapter 6. The Great European House Hunt, Nowhere to Call Home, affordably anyway. Right, let's talk about bricks and mortar, or the distinct lack of them, at a price that doesn't require selling a kidney or two. Housing shortages, my darlings, are a real and growing nightmare across parts of Europe. It's like a continent-wide game of musical chairs, but everyone wants a 3-bedroom semi-detached with a garden, and all that's left are a few very expensive, very tiny studio flats above a noisy kebab shop. The dream of owning a home, or even finding a decent affordable rental, is becoming just that, a dream for far too many. Prices are soaring into the stratosphere, and availability is scarcer than a politician's apology. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a crisis that affects every aspect of life. Young people can't fly the nest, families are crammed into unsuitable accommodation, and the stress of simply keeping a roof over your head is immense. When you spend half your income or more just on rent, there's not much left for, well, living. So people start to look further afield to towns, cities, or even other countries where the housing market isn't quite so hostile. They're searching for a place where they can actually afford to create a home, a sanctuary, without having to win the lottery first. It's a fundamental need, and if it can't be met, well, those moving boxes start looking very tempting. Now, this is a serious one and something that touches us all, our health. And when the healthcare system starts to feel a bit, shall we say, under the weather itself, it's a major cause for concern. In some European nations, healthcare system failures are, quite frankly, scaring people away. We're talking long waiting lists for essential treatments, overstretched hospitals, a shortage of doctors and nurses, and a general feeling that if you get properly ill, you might be in for a rather worrying time. It's not exactly the reassurance one looks for when considering where to build a life, is it? When you can't get a timely appointment with a GP, or you hear stories of people waiting months, even years for necessary surgeries, that little seed of doubt starts to grow. For families with children, or those with elderly relatives, or indeed anyone who values their well-being, which is everyone, I hope, creaking healthcare system is a massive red flag. It prompts people to research countries where access to quality medical care is more reliable, where they can feel confident that if the worst happens, they'll be looked after. Health is wealth, as they say, and if you can't guarantee the former, people will go searching for it elsewhere, even if it means a major upheaval. Chapter 8, Schools Out of Quality, Education System Exasperations. For anyone with little ones, or even thinking about starting a family, the quality of the education system is paramount. It's about giving your children the best possible start in life, isn't it? But what if the schools are struggling, the teachers are overworked and underpaid, and the curriculum feels like it was written sometime during the Jurassic period? Education system issues are a significant factor for families considering a move. They're not just looking for good schools, they're looking for environments where their children can thrive, be inspired, and gain the skills they need for the future. When parents hear about overcrowded classrooms, a lack of resources, or an education system that seems to be lagging behind international standards, alarm bells start ringing. They begin to research schools in other regions or countries, looking for places that offer innovative teaching, better facilities, and a more promising outlook for their children's academic and personal development. It's a huge decision, uprooting a family. But for the sake of their children's future, many are concluding that it's a sacrifice worth making. After all, a good education is one of the greatest gifts you can give, and if you can't find it locally, the search inevitably goes global. Chapter 9. Planet Panic When Your Backyard Becomes a Biohazard. Let's talk about the birds and the bees and the trees, or rather the worrying lack of them, or the state they're in. Environmental concerns are no longer just for the eco-warriors amongst us, they're hitting home for everyone. When the air quality in your city is regularly compared to an ashtray, or your local river has more plastic than fish, it's hard to ignore. People are becoming increasingly aware of how environmental degradation is impacting their health, their quality of life, and the future they're leaving for the next generation. And frankly, some parts of Europe are looking a bit worse for wear. Living in an area with high pollution levels, contaminated water sources, or a landscape scarred by industrial neglect isn't just unpleasant, it's actively harmful. People dream of clean air, green spaces, and a place where they can enjoy nature without a Geiger counter. They want to know that the food they eat and the water they drink are safe. So when their current environment starts to feel more like a toxic dump than a picturesque European idyll, they understandably start looking for greener pastures, quite literally. The desire for a healthier, more sustainable place to live is a powerful force pushing people towards regions that take their environmental responsibilities a little more seriously. Chapter 10. Locking up and leaving, safety, security, and the search for peace of mind. And finally, but by no means least, let's talk about feeling safe in your own home, in your own neighborhood. Safety and security problems are, understandably, a huge driver for people deciding to pack up and move. When you're constantly looking over your shoulder, worried about burglaries, street crime, or a general decline in public order, it erodes your peace of mind. It changes how you live, where you go, and how you feel about the community around you. And let's be honest, nobody wants to live in a state of perpetual anxiety, do they? It's exhausting. An increase in crime rates, a feeling that law enforcement is overwhelmed, or just a general sense of unease in public spaces can make even the most beautiful European city feel unwelcoming. People long for a place where their children can play outside without constant supervision, where they can walk home at night without fear, and where the rule of law feels strong and reliable. This isn't about living in a fortress, it's about a basic human need for security and tranquility. If that's missing, people will seek it out, even if it means crossing borders to find a community where they and their families can feel genuinely safe and sound. It's the ultimate deal breaker for many. To outrow. So, are we all moving then, or just having a good old think? Phew, well, there you have it, my lovelies. 10 rather hefty reasons why some folks might be eyeing the exit signs in certain European countries come 2025. It's quite a lot to take in, isn't it? From wobbly finances and weather that's auditioning for a disaster movie, to worries about jobs, homes, and even the air they breathe. It's clear that a whole host of complex issues are at play, making life a bit more of a challenge than a charming continental dream for some. But it's not all doom and gloom, of course. Europe is still a magnificent, diverse, and wonderful place. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful and perhaps a little bit thought-provoking, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more updates on travel insights and migration trends. We've got so much more to explore, and I'd hate for you to miss out on the next adventure, or indeed, the next bit of juicy analysis. Honestly, the things we uncover, you wouldn't want to be the last to know, would you? And please, don't forget to comment below with your thoughts and join the conversation. Are any of these reasons ringing true for you? Are you considering a move, or do you think things will settle down? I genuinely love to hear what you all think, so don't be shy. Stay tuned for more eye-opening content, because trust me, there's always more to talk about. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.